My guest tonight won an Emmy Award for his performance in the British comedy series State of the Union. He also had hilarious roles in This Is 40 and Bridesmaids. His latest movie, Here We Are, Notes for Living on Planet Earth, is streaming right now on Apple TV. And it is, Apple TV Plus, and you've got to check it out. Please welcome the very funny Chris O'Dowd. How are you, Chris?
Hey, Conan, lovely to see you.
I love the way you say my name.
I get that. You know, they say that thing about, I don't know if we've talked about this before, but you know the way the Irish accent has that reputation for being romantic or something?
Yeah.
And they've kind of worked it out scientifically that it's the elongation of the vowels. Because a consonant gives a word its power.
Yes.
And a vowel gives a word its feeling. So the longer those vowels are elongated, that's what makes it sound all sexy-like.
Elongated. I love that. It's just elongated. You know, I grew up next door to these twin brothers that were probably in their 60s, the Murphy boys. And I was a kid and I'd be out shoveling snow and the Murphy boys would be out there talking to each other. And they were from some small village in Ireland. I couldn't understand a word they were saying. You know, people think it's the Lucky Charms elf. Boston Bigora. It's not. The real thing, when you hear it, I never understood a word. I think they were both calling for help, and I never understood.
Like Laci.
Exactly. How are you doing? You're in your house.
Yeah.
You're quarantined. How? First of all, how's your wife? Is your wife handling this well?
Yeah, she lives in the attic now. Around a week and a half ago, I believe her last words were, "I never want to see any of you again." But she's been good. She seems happy. I hear a lot of men's voices up there. But she sends the odd text.
Yeah.
And that's great. You know, it's a little pick-me-up in the middle of the day, you know.
It's good. I'm glad that she's meeting other people and that she's in the attic and she's...
No, it's been brilliant, actually. The whole thing, because who knew that what we needed was just more time together? You know, like an endless infinity amount of time. Like that we are operating at only 24 hours a day. It's so sad to me. I just wish there was more time. I wish there was just more time for more questions.
And more time to notice little things that each of you do that might be annoying. Yes. We need more of that. You know, I know you're from Roscommon in
That's
Ireland.
Right.
And where is Roscommon, by the way?
It's kind of in the northwest, just east of Galway and Mayo. Very beautiful.
You must have family there. How are they doing with the virus? How are they with the quarantine? Are they handling it well?
I think so. I mean, my mom and dad are still in my hometown in Boyle, and they're cocooning, which is this thing that is law. I'm trying to think of the right word. So they can't leave the house if you're over 70.
Oh.
Which is pretty full on.
Yeah.
But my mother seems to be dealing really well with it. She's a therapist, so she's been doing a lot of Zoom therapy and things like that. And then she's kind of just waiting at home the rest of the time, waving out the window to people. I like to think of her like this adorable golden retriever. She's like, "Who's this? What's the postman? Hello, postman." Hello. But they seem pretty good. And then my sister has 5 kids. So she, of varying ages. So she and her husband are it's like I imagine, manic holiday camp.
Yeah.
But everybody's doing okay. You know, I think in Ireland there's been tough times before. So in a way, it's kind of like a notch on the bedpost of our collective historical failures.
Well, it's funny because I always think the Irish expect things to be bad, you know?
Yeah.
And so when there's a global pandemic and the world seems like it's going to shit, the Irish are like, well, of course. Yes, that's right. That's right.
We did have a feeling this was going to happen. There's also And we're here in California, which is a very different experience. I think in Ireland, where we're like, okay, so you can't go outside and you can't really see each other, and you know it's kind of dangerous. I think a lot of Irish people were like, oh, you mean like winter? Over here, it's been a little kind of different.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, very true. Very true.
But they were ready for it.
You have 2 sons, ages 2 and 5. Is that right?
That's right.
Now that I have to say, not knowing anything, my kids are older. My kids are in their late 60s. It makes it a very different experience. To have a 2-year-old and a 5-year-old, I think would be very difficult right now to all be in the house together.
This is the situation. So we've got a 5-year-old who's getting out of like nighttime diapers, a 2-year-old who's getting out of daytime diapers, a dog who's having accidents because he doesn't get walked as much, and a cat who is 16 and seems to really hate us. It is an avalanche of excrement and urine in my house. It is a dystopian pre-Pampers commercial. So that's been quite intense. The potty training, which we had just started when all of this, for want of a better word, shit shows began, was unfortunate. Like it just all kicked off, and now it's everywhere.
So that's your life. Your life is dealing with just a house filled with excrement 24/7.
It's a cascade of filth.
Yes.
Everywhere but the bedroom.
I think this is why your wife is in the attic.
This is probably true. But they've been great. They've been great. And I just need to work out what my 5th favorite dinosaur is, because that seems to be important. I've given far too much credence to the importance of the first 4, but here we are.
Yeah. Well, we all know it's the Brontosaurus.
Yeah.
You mentioned, speaking of creatures, you said you have a dog.
Yes.
What's your dog's name?
Potato.
Why did you do that?
Well, it felt like at the time we were in London and you look kind of like a potato. I can't remember. There was some in-joke that we've actually forgotten. And now whenever I'm in the park, people think I have Irish Tourette's. Potato! Here. I'm actually trying to get him. Where is he? Hold on.
Is he there?
I'll show you because, hey, listen, he has a trick I'd love you to see.
Oh, I want to see this. Okay.
All right, hold on. Potato! Oh, come here. Good boy. Yeah, good boy.
Oh, Potato.
It all seems too on the nose, but this is something I discovered that he could do one day when I was just watching TV, watching a show, which you'll be familiar with, and the theme tune came on, and this happened.
This is... Wait. Potato only does that when he hears the Office theme song.
The Office theme song. I have no idea why. There must be some note in the music that like.
It's so funny because when it first started, Potato was looking down, ears twitching, thinking, and then it got to the certain part of the song and.
Yeah, there must be an instrument change in there somewhere, but it's amazing.
Wow.
Makes me so happy.
Oh, that's such a sweet trick. That's so amazing that you found the one show either Potato loves or Potato can't stand.
When your theme song comes on, he does a fart. It's quite sweet. Like, it's just as regular. And
yeah. I'm sure that means really loves the show. That's my guess. I want to make sure we talk about this because you've made this new animated short film, and it's really lovely. It's a great message. Here we are, notes for living on planet Earth. Let's talk about it, because how long has this been in the works for?
I probably got involved in it around a year ago. There's an Irish kids author called Oliver Jeffers, and we have a bunch of his books. He's a youngish guy. He's probably my age, and from Belfast. And I bumped into him at a U2 gig, and we kind of stayed in touch. And he'd done the animations for the backdrop in Madison Square Garden. It was really cool. And we had all his books and happened to be reading them to the kids. And then they got in touch and said they were doing this. So it seemed to make sense. It's a gorgeous story about explaining the world to a child, basically. It's a young kid's thing, and it's really adorable.
And it's a kid who basically wants to know everything about Earth, wants to learn everything he can about Earth. And it's an animated film that's only, what, half an hour long? It's 30 minutes.
Right. It's like for TV. So it's like, I think it's a half hour.
Yeah.
And Meryl Streep kind of plays, she's the narrator who's kind of Mother Earth. And myself and Ruth Nega played the parents, and Jacob Tremblay. It's very sweet. It's set around Earth Day. And the kid wants to go to the museum, and his parents are essentially saying, let's go out and see the world. The timing isn't ideal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But it's a beautiful little tale of just trying to break things down into their simplest form so they can be consumed by maybe a 7-year-old.
Well, it's a nice message. This is our planet. This is all we have. We got to take care of it. Which
so far.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll find another one very soon.
Yeah.
But that'll be 3 years away.
That's
before
right.
we find the next one. This is also, you've done your fair share of, you've done some work in animation. You've done voices. Are your children aware? Have you done stuff where your children can watch it and say, oh wait, that's Dad?
Yeah. I narrate a kids show on Netflix called Puff and Rock with these guys from Ireland, and it's very gentle, easy show, just set on like cliffs somewhere. It's very sweet. So for the first kind of when we started letting the kids watch TV, it was all we would let them watch because it's so gentle. But it did mean for a good 2 years they thought I narrated all of television, which was maybe an idea.
It's sweet.
Yeah.
It's nice that they thought their father was really the center of the universe. This was my experience when my kids were young. They would fall in love with the show, and then they would they would love it so much that I would mention the show in interviews. Then the people who ran that show would reach out to me and say, Conan, do you want to do a voice on the show? And I'd say, sure. And I would do it, and it's animation. So it wouldn't come out for till a year later. And when it did, the kids had outgrown that show. I'd say, hey, I'm on the Goo Goo Brothers. And they'd be like, we hate the Goo Goo Brothers. No one watches the Goo Goo Brothers. What we're into now is Teen Titans Go. And I'd say like, okay, great. And then I'd do that. And they'd be like, no, we outgrew that.
Oh, shoot.
So I was always behind.
Yeah. So how do we remedy that? You're going to need to get on trend for kid stuff of the future.
Yes, I know. I think what I have to do now is forget them and aim for grandchildren. That's what I have to do. I have to start working on something now that will come out in 20 years.
That's smart.
See?
Yeah.
And you thought I was an idiot.
No.
I read that editorial you wrote. I love that you.
What a weird thing for me to choose.
I know. Well, the Irish usually piss on the Irish. So
right.
Well, let me sure I mention this. Here we are. Notes for Living on Planet Earth is now streaming on Apple TV Plus.
Great.
And everyone should check that out because it's
very
lovely.
sweet. Yeah.
And this was nice of you to take time away from the excrement, the bitter feelings between yourself and your. Okay. Yes. Okay. We'll. Okay. I hope.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's just so lovely being at home,
It's great being at home, and I'm so happy for you that you're going to be there. There's going to be a van that comes to your house in half an hour. Get in the back, okay? Don't ask any questions.
Okay, Dad.
Thank you very much for doing this. You're a good sport.
Course.
You're a fine lad, if that's something people really say. Chris O'Dowd, God bless you.
Be well.
Be well.